A pleasure to me all at last. Here we are at it again with more HJN Season 4. Now we have ourselves another subject in mind for number 2425, and as you probably know by now, there's certainly a lot of things that I might as well have the chance to talk about specifically. And 2425 in particular talks a bit about something known as shifts. So, we'll just get into it. Shifts commonly refer to a certain interval in time, usually a set amount of hours or minutes or seconds, involved every day. They typically apply to work when it comes to a certain level of employment, whether part-time or full-time or otherwise. Even freelance schedules happen to have their own set amount of time put together into what's commonly known by employment as shifts. And these are in fact periods of time not just within work or otherwise, but in general, where shifts commonly work for people whom are in fact within the employment, or possibly otherwise in terms of work, an internship or elsewhere. But in all cases, shifts usually are within the hour-long range, typically involving a set amount of time each day, typically within a fraction worth of a day's amount of time, in order to associate with the common payroll as well as with the set amount of work that's in mind from start to end. And with each shift that comes around, you have people that work in different jobs. Commonly speaking, first, second, and third shift are 8-hour-long periods within every single 24-hour-long period of the day, two of which that people have a certain job that takes place. Like, for example, you might have somebody working from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m., organizing packages, or helping to deliver fuel to the nearest gas station. And then you might have the person who goes from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and they could in fact be a good majority of people out there, as a large number of Americans, as well as other people around the world, typically operate from some part of the morning to a certain part in the afternoon at a full-time job. And then you have people that are up there in the second shift, which is usually from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. That exact kind of time frame is typically settled upon between the day and night shift, the sort of transition phase, as dusk basically centers around in the direct middle of it. And then of course, there's the night shift and day shift sort of stuff, which commonly is set upon depending on what kind of time frame is scheduled between the start and finish of that exact shift, per side of course, relating to day and night. And there of course are a number of other things that I could talk about when in relation to shifts being organized for employment related stuff. But the thing is, the term shift itself does have a lot of other context involved. For example, there's the process of manual gearbox operations. Shifting is commonly used as a term to describe the transition from one gear to the next when in a manually operated gearbox. Or there's also the automatic gearbox, which has shifting involved, but not as much as with manual. And then you have the shift key on a keyboard, which typically does allow for you to transition between lowercase and uppercase letters, or sometimes from numbers to punctuation marks. And with so many other things for the context surrounding the word shift entirely, it is a rather useful term. And I'm sure that it'll be around for a long, long time. So by all means, if anyone out there wants to use the word shift for a number of different things, well, it's up to you at this point. It just feels like one of the most versatile words ever invented in human history. So it's no wonder why there's just so many different contexts to apply this term towards. And even more so when you get to know the facts and when you go in deeper to them, it sure is an adventure. Oh, but you know what? This sure was quite a big subject. Despite being simpler, I feel like I've gone on quite a long limb just to talk about this thing entirely. And well, the subject itself was well worth the time spent at this very moment. So I will see you guys later with more content, and of course with HJN and otherwise. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow me wherever you can find me, and stay on the Hollywood side.